I don't know, like, she's out there. You're the Florida version of Sex in the City, JD.
That's when I was smoking my cigars.
Don't be an asshole today.
How's it going?
Guys, I can't
Love the hat. I love your hat.
Gotta
Got the
drink.
promo going.
Nice.
It's Friday. Who needs a drink?
Ah, you're ready. I know you're ready. Nice.
This is the Sweet Potato Spirit Company.
Oh,
Toffee apple moonshine, made in handmade in copper stills.
Ooh.
This better taste like Halloween in a glass. You know what I mean? That's what I think of, toffee apple.
sounds like.
But I want to show you that I Tylered it up a little bit, and I've got apple wedges in my glass.
Ooh, nice.
Nice.
Yeah, because I didn't
nice.
have apple juice. Here we
You
go.
are,
What do you guys got? Show me. I got the big
Girl.
scroll.
well, as you know, I rushed home
Yeah.
and I've
That's your
now
excuse?
downgraded. I've downgraded from the solo cup to the mini Coca-Cola.
Classy. Okay. Well, Nick, what do you got?
I'm not drinking yet.
Okay, it's a little early there. I get it.
Yeah. Well, it's never too early, but I'm just gonna wait just a little bit longer.
Day drinking
This
on
is
a
all I had.
Friday,
This
like
is all I had time for, the tiny little, this is a mini. I don't know if you see.
yeah, that's one of the tiny
Yeah.
ones. I like those. Yeah. Well,
Those are-
I'm doing this.
How does it taste?
Oh man, it tastes good. It's
That
like
looks good.
it's like sweet and toffee, and you just get a little hint of apple that's in the actual drink, but the fresh apple kind of hits your nose. But
Wow.
yeah, I'm all for that. That's delightful.
It's like fall is coming back.
It is
for a
like
day.
fall. I know. And today felt like that. It was like it was close to 60 degrees today, so I'm not complaining. But the minute that the sun goes behind the trees and it's gone, it drops. It drops like right down. So tonight it's supposed to be something like 40, 42, 44. So
Wow.
the evenings are so nice and cool that you still have that fall feel, and the leaves aren't back just yet.
Yeah.
I noticed the little cherry blossom buds coming in, so they're coming. They're gonna make my life miserable again this year. I battle with them, for the last
I'm a
8
little jealous. I'm jealous. It's hot here again.
I know.
Just hot, and it's going to remain that way probably till real fall.
Till February. Till next
Late
February.
fall. Yeah, next February. Right.
I can't complain. Like, I thought the weather was great when I was there. Like, even though it was like 82 or whatever, it was only like that hot from noon to 2, and then it was gorgeous in the evenings. It was cool. It was windy. I spent like every night sitting out on my mom's back patio, just watching the palm tree sway. It was like it was so cool. So I have no complaints about the weather while I was there. I know that it's it's turning a corner. It's gonna be miserable from here on in, but
You're gonna get Rosie out one of these days. Rosie in the air conditioner.
June. Can I just tell you, I am a little tired. Like, I thought that I nailed the jet lag thing because I got this massive like 12-hour sleep the day after, I got home. And I thought, well, nailed it. I felt great the next day. And the next day was okay. But like on the third day, I feel like it's back with a vengeance, and I couldn't shake it. And then we had all these issues with the house alarm, and then the smoke detectors. They were just the house alarm we have never had hooked up.
Mhm,
They don't want
mhm.
that monthly expense, so the box is there and there's a little light on it, but we don't have a code, we don't set it, we don't use it, whatever. And I don't know what Gemma was doing in the meter closet, but she bumped the inside panel box that
Mhm.
goes to it, and the door fell off of it, and it just started going off, and we were like freaking out. We're like, we don't even have a code. Like, how does this hitting every button, X check mark numbers, 123 000 111, and nothing was working. It's so embarrassing because like, all our houses are so close together. We're right across from the flats, just a parking lot away, and my neighbors are right there, and it's going off, and the cats have like long left the planet, like they are under the beds shaking. So she Googled it and she figured out what the master code is to turn it off or whatever, and that was fine, took care of that. But then later on, I think maybe she didn't have the panel like screwed in the meter closet, so it fell off in the middle of the night. It started going on. And,
Oh my gosh.
yeah, and then the next day, sound asleep, 4 a.m, I hear the chirp, and I'm like, no, that's not the house alarm again. No. Okay, never mind. All right, never mind. Go back to sleep. Chirp. I'm like, nope. And I had that Phoebe from Friends moment where I'm like, oh my God, this is the smoke detector. Like, this is how this is going. This is the smoke detector. So I'm like, it's just a chirp every minute or so. I can live with it. I'll go back to sleep. Half an hour later, I'm still laying there. Chirp. And I'm like, what in the hell? Like, gotta get up and do something about this. Meantime, now I start hearing the creaks, creak, 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 creak. And I know Gemma's now gone downstairs. She's working on it. She's got it unhooked on everything, and it's still chirping. And it's the hardwired one, the one that is like for code that's hardwired in, and it's the backup battery, but we can't get the compartment open where the battery is. So it's just continuing to chirp. Yeah, it was miserable. So by the time we finally figured that out, it was 6:30 in the morning. And so I just stayed up. And then I thought, no big deal. And then Thursday, last night, completely forgetting that it was St. Patrick's Day, we went to go see Hannah Gadsby. We had these are all tickets. Like, remember 2 years ago when you were buying tickets to things because it was like, oh,
Right,
great.
right.
So, and then everything got canceled, and now all those things are coming into play. So we completely forgot we had tickets and everything. So we go, and me and Gemma was working in London. So did you drop your can of Coke?
No, I have to get my glasses. I can't really see today without them, so
Okay.
I'm gonna edit. I will edit this as a
No,
close-up.
leave it in. We love these flubs.
I couldn't see. My contact lenses are not really right yet, so okay.
Oh, there you go.
I'm back.
Okay. So we have these tickets, and they're at the London Palladium, and I have not been into London in about 3.5 years. Like, just haven't gone into town between the pandemic and just not really digging it. The crowds and everything, the hustle bustle is not my scene. But we got these tickets, and we're gonna go because we've seen her twice now. And I don't know if you saw I'm sure you saw the Nanette special on Netflix.
Yeah.
Right. And then you're completely aware of all the Netflix controversy with Dave Chappelle naming her in his thing or whatever, and then her spitting back at Ted Sarandos. And so there was a little coverage of that, but I was waiting for that. Like, that was the main reason I wanted to go to the show. So me and Hazel took a car into London, and because there's been like weird tube strikes and outages and everything, and the trains are not running the way they normally do, so it's just easier to take a car in, even though it's really expensive. But anyways, we get dropped off the Palladium, we meet Gemma and this girl Ashley that she works with, who has been with us at the last couple Hannah Gadsby's, and we get a drink or whatever, and we hang out and we see the show. And this opening act was Grace Petrie, who I've never heard of.
Yeah,
Like,
she was great.
She
was really good.
Oh my God, this little tiny, butch, feministy, angsty lesbians in their little tight vest and jeans and just kicking it, like just, I mean, belting. Just a girl and her guitar, like belting about the patriarchy, so that was a great opener. But it was, to me, it was like, it all felt, so weird being around people in a crowd and everything. I was like still wearing a mask like a jerk. I don't care. It was just too close quarters, like not outside.
Through the whole show? Through the whole show you wore the
Through
mask?
the whole show, the whole time inside the theater, I just felt more comfortable. But once we were outside on the street and everything, even though it was crowded, it was outside, it was breezy, and I was okay with that. But trying to get a car back home, not like doing the math and thinking it's St. Patrick's Day, there's a tube strike, the trains are off.
Oh, right.
So it was like we went through Bolts, we went through Addison Lee, and I think we ended up with an Uber, which was really shocking because that was the one we figured would not be available. Yeah, all the other ones were full, like super full, and we ended up, having to wait a little bit. But what are you gonna do? You got to get home. So it was another late night, and then this morning, because my patio was done, and it was sunny and nice, had that itch, like I gotta sweep, because they use like gritty grout, so I gotta sweep it all off, and then I want to put everything back and get it looking like super, super nice. And then I was just out there for like, then I started weeding, and then I started, moving things around and changing things and everything. And the next thing I'm like, oh my God, the whole day, like I've been out here all day. I didn't even get a nap. And now I'm drinking. If I fall asleep, will someone just end meeting for all?
I'll tap on the thing.
Fucking delirious, right? Oh my God. So catch me up on, Nick, you're wearing a hat. You just didn't feel like doing your hair, or you weren't really happy with the haircut? Okay.
Yeah, didn't feel like doing my hair. It's just one of those days. It's Friday, so just kind of relax a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, it's got to be a little bit nightmarish for you with all the awards things, like this big cumulative ending to the awards season.
Oh gosh, I'm ready for it. I'm so ready for it. It's been the longest award season ever.
It does.
Yeah.
Does it feel like coverage has really expanded? Like all of a sudden I'm like, who gives a shit about the Critics' Choice Awards? Like we never made a fuss over these. Like what? The Golden Globe, the Critics' Choice, the SAG Awards, the People's Choice Awards, the Emmys, the Daytime Emmys, the Technicals. I don't know how you're managing it. I really don't.
Yeah, there's a lot, and there's 2 awards tomorrow. They have the Producer Guild Awards tomorrow, and they have it's the Cinematographers Awards are tomorrow also. They just have all of these awards happening, and the coverage has just been insane. Everybody's just been obsessed over it.
So are you factoring in what's raking them up, and then that's how you do your Oscar picks? Or you're just like, these are my Oscar picks, I don't care who's won anything beforehand, but these are my Oscar picks?
So there are some precursor awards that usually are good for determining who's going to win, like the SAG Awards. Whoever wins those are typically going to go on and win an Oscar for their performance. The same with like the Producers Guild. Usually whoever wins that is going to win Best Picture. And so it's like those Guild Awards are usually the ones that really tell us, but it's like the Critics' Choice Awards and the Golden Globes, things like that, which, don't really have a huge, impact on the race and what's going to happen Oscars night. And yet people will like nitpick at them, and they'll still say, oh, because this happened, it's going to be. Right. And it's too much. It's crazy.
It is. And then I don't know, maybe that you should know this. The ones that are like Guild Awards, are those picked by peers or by the board of that guild?
So it's picked by peers. It's typically the same people who are in the academy, and they're in those different branches of the academy.
Okay, that's good to know. I feel a little better now with that. I feel like I can spew some knowledge now. But I don't know. I haven't really seen any of the ones that are in the race. I don't think this year. I really haven't seen them, like, and I feel bad saying it because I know everything is available through streamers, but I was fucking busy, man.
It's good having a life,
Do you have your favorites, Nick? Like, how are you at picking, like predicting who is going to win?
Well, I'm like constantly on Twitter, so I'm always like staying up to date on who's like leading everything. I'm really rooting for The Power of the Dog. That is like my film.
What in the hell with Jane Campion?
Oh yeah, that though. Yeah, her speech at it was the Directors Guild Awards. No,
She kind of trashed Venus and
Award.
Serena, right?
Yeah, she like I still don't really understand exactly what she meant by it either, but at
I
the Critics'
totally
Choice
did.
Awards,
Like I feel like she was she was not reducing them, to just being athletes that have to, that don't have to play men, whereas she has to compete against men.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I feel like that's what she said, especially because it was like a King Richard reference,
Yeah.
like that. And to think that she rose above what Sam Elliott said,
Yeah.
she kind of rose above it, or she met it. I would say she kind of met it head on, and we could have just drawn a line under it.
It just didn't make sense why she said it in the first place.
Exactly.
It's like it just
exactly.
came
There was
out of
there was no call for it whatsoever. There were none.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was one of those moments where I sincerely hope that in her head she's playing it back and saying, I wish I never said that.
She's come out and she's apologized for it. So she's had her little mea culpa, but it was so funny because at one awards show she was talking about Sam Elliott, and she was going up against what he said, and then in less than
And she had
24
every right. Don't you agree she had every right to say something about it? He was pretty
Sam Elliott, I don't even know why. And did you know that he spoke out against 1883 also?
No, the thing that he started.
I was gonna say, wasn't he in that?
And he was talking about that in Yellowstone and how they're not, like, basically what he was saying about The Power of the Dog is they're not realistic. And it's so funny. It's
shirtless cowboys walking around in fucking chaps or whatever, alluding to homosexuality. He was pretty forthright with his thoughts on it. What did he say about Yellowstone in 1883? That wasn't realistic?
Yeah,
I thought 1883 was the most realistic thing that I've ever seen in a period drama ever.
Well, my whole thing is, it's like, why is he like the leader of this type of, authenticity when it comes to Western? It's
like, excuse me, Nick, the first time I saw you, you were playing a lifeguard. That was where I first remember, watching it on HBO and him with the long John Travolta hair, right, and the big handlebar mustache, playing a lifeguard. So I mean, why doesn't he pick on lifeguards? Like, he's just all of a sudden he's done pretty much like 3 big time West. Like, The Ranch was pretty Western, it was very Republican based humor, but being challenged by Ashton Kutcher's character. Sam Elliott was hardcore in that, but and then 1883, like, I don't see why he would have an issue with that script whatsoever. Not at all. But I don't think
he's got the mustache. He's got the mustache and the voice for those movies. So
yeah, the craggy.
What else would he be in? Right.
Like, that's the whole thing. I think that he maybe believes that he's like a cowboy.
What's so funny? Do you know where he came from? Where he was born? He grew up in Sacramento, California.
I was gonna say Malibu. I was gonna say Malibu. Yeah.
That's where he lives now. He lives in Malibu now, and it's like, you've been in California like your whole life. What are you talking about?
Right?
You mean
Talk
it's
to me
not
when
like
you- when you-
Texas Oklahoma or Texas or
Yeah,
something like
talk to me
that.
when you really do own 100,000 acres in Montana, you know, in Yellowstone.
Right, in Montana.
Right? God, unbelievable. But I hate that that kind of stuff mars the achievements, you know, like
Yeah.
that's what the press picks up on. They don't pick up on the other accolades, or you know, the fact that this just won an award. They pick up on these stupid little sound bites, and that's ends up getting all the attention.
It's true. That's so true.
That's, yeah, that's ridiculous. So hey, don't say gay. Everybody is like, I don't know if you guys follow. Do you know who Frank DeCaro is? Nick, you must know. You don't know Frank?
No.
Okay, so he used to be on The Daily Show, way back when Jon Stewart was doing it. He had like a little segment on The Daily Show. Then he had a talk show on Out Q radio on Sirius XM or whatever with Doria Biddle. And he's a comedian. He toured with Lisa Lampanelli. And his husband, Jim Colucci, is a television critic, and he wrote the book like Golden Girls Forever or whatever. It's been really making rounds. There was even like a Golden Girls cruise and everything. And he does book signings and all that kind of stuff.
The actual Golden Girls? The actual Golden Girls, the show?
Actual, yeah, he did like the behind the scenes interview. He's doing one on the Love Boat next. So anyways, I follow Frank, and he's just the funniest thing ever. And so now he goes on these kind of like these arcs on Facebook where he'll post like your drag. He wrote a book about drags too. And so he does this like hashtag your drag moment of the day. And he finds like straight celebrities dressed in drag, and he'll post them. Like, here's your straight, you know, your drag moment, whatever of the day. And so now he's on this, like, you know, like, let's say gay, you know, like, let's say gay. Don't forget to say gay. Hey, it's St. Patrick's Day. Don't forget to say gay. Like, it's everywhere. There's just, I mean, I love the fact that there's like, now it's the whole say gay has become a movement against the don't say gay bill. And I'm like, I'm here for it. I'm gay. Gay. I just want to walk around saying it all the time. It doesn't matter because I'm not in Florida though. So I just
Well, it's funny that you mention it because, you know, my first news item that I was going to talk about was actually about Walt Disney and, you know, their response to the Don't Say Gay bill. So I don't know if either of you have heard, but the Walt Disney Company, they're under fire because of them supporting the Republicans who are, you know, pushing the Don't Say Gay bill into law. So yeah, like, what was I going to say about it? But yeah, they were donating to the sponsors of it. And, you know, what we know about the bill is that, you know, basically teachers and students can't discuss anything that has anything to do with queerness when it comes to their time in the classroom.
I just want to say that I read part of the bill. I did not make my way all the way through it, but somebody had posted a link to the actual bill. And it really seems directed at, I want to say, what I don't know what you guys call it, middle school. Middle school, like it seems to be like kindergarten through middle school. They're very worried, you know, about their kid catching gay if they say it or something, you know, when they're little, but it doesn't really seem to address it from like say 6th grade through graduation. They don't care at that point. You're on your own. But I did notice that it seemed very focused on middle school, which is a shame, because if you're a little kid and the kid next to you has 2 dads, are you not allowed to ask questions? Is that kid not allowed to say, I have 2 dads or I have 2 moms?
Right.
Like, what is
well,
that?
I don't know if either of you watched Last Week Tonight with John Oliver, but he was talking about this and about the bill. And you're right, like the people who are pushing this bill forward are talking about how, it's really focused on younger children, when of course, it can still apply to people who are in high school or after a certain grade. It can still apply to those teachers. So it is really focusing on everyone in the education system in Florida. But that's a good point that you brought up, because what he was talking about, and something that we all know, is children, they love to ask questions. That's the thing. It's like, that's what children do more than adults, is ask questions.
Right.
And so what happens if there's a queer teacher, or there's a student with two dads or two mothers, and they're not going to be able to talk about that. And these children are going to be basically told they can't ask these kinds of questions, and they're going to know that there's something wrong. And
They're
then
going to
that's
think something wrong.
Right.
They're going to think something's wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the whole, that's the worst part of it, is that, it's really, putting them in this spot to feel shameful about it, number one.
Yeah.
And it's taking away a teacher's ability to help normalize it.
Yeah.
It's almost like amplifying it instead of just letting it be. It's like making it a thing.
Yeah.
When it should just be like normal. If a kid wants to ask a question, now we're making it a big deal.
Right.
It's making it worse, actually, in my opinion. Like, it's making it more of a thing.
Totally. Yeah.
Especially where kids are concerned, because they would probably maybe ask a question or two and not really think that much into it, like.
Yeah, they're not the ones making the big deal out of it. Like, they just
Right.
want to answer,
Right.
The thing with kids is you can tell them anything. Like, this is one of the reasons why I don't want children, is because I feel like I would be doing a lot of social experiments on them, like, if they ask, questions, just give them like a dumb answer and go, oh my God, they just like accepted that answer. So yeah, that's one of the reasons why I really shouldn't have kids, because I would do that a lot. Yeah.
But yeah, that's the thing. It's like, when it comes to children, it's like, yeah, they'll ask these questions, but it's like they don't mean anything by their questions. They're just curious to know. And
yeah.
There's this innocence surrounding children, where it's like they don't have these preconceptions about, bias and about bigotry.
Here we are giving them those those.
That's what happened.
Yeah. All right. So we got 9 minutes. We must have news. We must have better news than this.
Yeah. So at the BAFTAs, another award show, can't get away from award show either.
That's mine, right?
Yeah,
that's
British awards. Yes.
Okay, British Film and TV Awards. Yep.
So Emma Watson was a presenter at the BAFTAs, and
you know who Emma Watson is, Jay?
Yes, I do.
Okay, just make.
I
you
do know
right?
Emma Watson.
You got Harry Potter fans in your family.
Yes.
Okay. Go ahead.
Tyler was a Harry Potter fan. Sorry, Nick. Very own Tyler was little Harry Potter.
Oh,
Dad, I'm sorry.
Oh no, we're Harry Potter fans, but so she was introduced as a witch when she was going to present an award, because of course she played a witch. And she went up there and she said, by the way, I'm here for all of the witches. And obviously that was a dig at J.K. Rowling, because
Yes.
J.K. is very trans. So that was the big news about the BAFTAs.
Yeah, that got around over here, man. I'll say. Even Hannah Gadsby mentioned it in her show.
Oh, she did. Oh, I love that.
Yep. Yeah, that was pretty funny.
Yeah, so that was the big thing there.
That was big.
And
That looked like a beautiful venue, by the way, that you were at last night. I saw one of the
The
pictures you
Palladium,
had.
yeah, that was.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, that was awesome.
That is a gorgeous venue. We were there for Chelsea Handler, and somebody else, Gemma, just reminded me, and I was like, "Oh yeah, we've been here a couple of times." And that was where Adele did an evening with Adele in London.
Oh, okay.
It was at the Palladium too. You know, the thing of it is they can change it on a dime. You know, like it looked like a stand-up comedy show last night, but then when you saw it on TV, when you watched the Adele concert, you're like, "That's the Palladium." What? Yeah. So yeah, it was good to be back there again. It was nice. It is a beautiful venue.
Well,
Very
since you mentioned Hannah Gadsby again, I have a pillow that actually has a quote from Hannah Gadsby. And it's backwards, of course.
Oh, right.
Yeah, but like, there's nothing stronger than, go ahead.
Yeah.
There's nothing stronger than a broken woman who has rebuilt
yeah.
herself. Exactly. Yeah.
That's
Love that
beautiful.
Yeah.
quote.
That was from Nanette, wasn't it?
It was.
'Cause we
Yeah.
saw that. We saw Douglas. That was the second one. And I do not, after the remarks that she made last night, I'm thinking that this one will go to Prime, probably not Netflix.
Probably.
Yeah. But yeah, this one was there was no like feministy. I mean, a little bit, like I think that's why she had Grace Petrie open for her, because she was trying to keep hers a feel-good show. Like she would keep saying it and then she would veer off and get like something, you know, something would go, and she would be like, feel good show. She was basically talking about her relationship and how she got married, like during the pandemic and everything, and to her producer, and how they met and how it happened and all that. And, you know, like just going off on all the different side stories that goes along with something like that.
Right.
And the broken leg foot, which looked extremely painful. Like I do not know how she did it. I mean, she had a crutch and she had one of those big walking boots on.
Oh yeah.
But she just looked so unstable. Like I kept worrying that she was gonna topple over, you know. But you know, she did good. She stayed right near the stool at all times. Like she didn't go off in any directions or anything. But she had this one analogy, and I cannot stop thinking of it because it was like so me and Gemma. Like I was saying this in the car on the way home. She was saying how after watching the Olympics, she realized that her relationship was a lot like curling. Like she just goes off and just kind of winds around and spins off in different directions, and her girlfriend's there sweeping her on back. You know? That is it. It's so perfect. Anyways, go ahead, Nick. We got time for another one.
Oh yeah. So more politics, you know,
Okay.
unfortunately.
He loves his politics.
Yes, we love
I'm terrible because I don't follow as much. That's why I don't have a lot to
She follows the
interject.
Hallmark Channel.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
20, it's fake politics, fake mayors, fake you know, right? The mayors of
Yep.
the town and the
Fake
anyway,
mayors and council
Yeah.
people, fake
More.
council people. Yeah.
fake towns.
I like that a lot more than what's actually happening. So
Me too.
I'm right there with you. Yeah. But this is actually some good news, you know, because as we know, there was the legislation that was being put through in Texas, and how basically what was being proposed was a governor's order to investigate any gender affirming care as child abuse.
Right.
And what
Oh,
happened was
Parents of trans kids were going to be investigated and could get arrested,
for child
they-
abuse. Yeah.
right, for child abuse if they were helping their trans child.
Yeah.
Right.
But in some good news, a Texas judge last Friday has issued an injunction against it, that would basically say that the governor was overreaching the scope of what they're able to do, and basically handed, you know, the opponents of that bill a temporary victory.
Yeah,
So
100%.
they
Yeah.
won't be
that was-
investigating at the moment. So that is good
Mm.
news.
Yeah.
Yeah, Texas is really like living in the Handmaid's Tale. I don't even understand like how anybody could. I wouldn't even want to travel there, to be honest. I wouldn't even want to travel there. It's just not good.
No, yeah, I think Lizzo, I don't know how familiar you both are with Lizzo.
Love
Yeah.
Lizzo.
Yeah.
Her
I know
new
she-
show's coming
yeah.
out soon.
Yeah, and so she was going to perform in Texas, and she came out against, the different bills that they're proposing. And so that's how I would be, if I were performing, I would just not go there. I would take all of my business out of Texas.
Right.
Is
Yeah,
she,
I mean,
did
that's
she
really the only way to
cancel?
do things.
I'm sorry, did she cancel her show?
So I know that she came out against it, but I'm not sure if she has canceled it yet.
I'm
But-
thinking she will. She's pretty,
Because
she's pretty like, do your own thing, kind of speak out. She got a new show about picking her backup dancers.
yeah, she does.
I can't wait. I can't wait for
Ah.
that. She likes the
Yeah.
big girls. She got all the big girl
That's-
dancers.
Have you seen her video, Where'd My Phone Go? Where the hell
No.
my phone go? So funny how she loses her phone. It's the funniest song. Yeah, and she's got all the
That's
backup
great.
dancers. Yeah.
I still think of her and Oprah singing at the Adele concert at the Griffith Observatory with Oprah singing all the wrong words and Lizzo right next to her nailing every word and every beat. How are these two even friends?
Yeah.
That's too funny. Well, that's
But
cool. I
that's
mean,
great.
that was, that I like to end on a positive note, and I feel like that was as positive as it can get politically,
Yes, for how it is right now, yes.
Well, I just want to give you guys a really quick heads up because we only have about a minute. But I am working on getting us Frank DeCaro,
Oh,
Nicole Pacent, and Melissa Farrick.
oh,
those-
wow.
If those three get back to me, we're ready to rock.
That's
Yay.
exciting.
I'm working on my people too, but no one gets back to me, Denise.
I think because Janice Ian's caretaker probably isn't checking her mail.
No word from Janice yet. Ah.
Oh, that's hilarious. All right, you guys, I'm gonna pour me another one of these.
Yes.
And then I'm
Enjoy.
getting a snack. It's been lovely catching up. Like, never stop chasing your dreams. There, that's, see?
We drank way too much whiskey.